Alright, we're going to be taking on Giovanni here with the Shadow Giratina team, and we've got a team that is below 1200 CP, so the combat power, pretty low, considering that this is my main trainer account that I'm using, and it's level 48, you guys. Why that's significant would be just that Team Go Rocket will scale up and down the difficulty, or we'll just say the CP amount, so that actually the Persian, for example, being at 7836 on that CP for Giovanni's Persian here, that would go up higher if I was level 50 even, but being at level 48, you know, that just essentially means that if you guys are level 40, anything below 48, right, you're going to be fighting a Persian actually that has less CP. So with it scaling, I'd say that a challenge like this where we defeat Giovanni below, in this case, 1200 CP. I don't know why the iPad's lagging up. Actually, it's because it's really hot. It feels really hot. I'm sorry, you guys. Little bit of lag there. Hopefully it doesn't mess us up here in this challenge, but we have Scrafty coming out. So Persian, we gotta get it out of the way first. That Persian really makes up a huge difference of the fight. You know, it being your first obstacle, obviously it's going to shield those first two. It's nice to bait those shields out, but the main thing to remember with Persian is that the fight can go very differently if it has feint attack or if it has scratch. So this Persian had feint attack, which is a dark type move, and so Scrafty being both dark and fighting means that it's going to actually resist majorly, you know? So like, okay, yeah, fighting resists dark. That's one set of the resistance, but also dark resisting dark. It's like we got a really nice Pokemon here to go up against a dark type attack. And of course, great that it can use fighting moves, right? Because Persian's only weakness is fighting. And speaking of, we got Kangaskhan in the mix. The problem with this Kangaskhan is that it's using low kick, so you can also use Mud Slap as well. And really, Scrafty doesn't like either of those, but Scrafty will take super effective damage because fighting, low kick, is super effective against the dark that Scrafty has. But look at this, we got Annihilate. Annihilate also very good for the Persian when it's not feint attack. It's ghost and fighting, ghost type being weak to dark, but fighting resisting dark, it just kind of neutralizes out. But it's better that Scrafty deal with that Persian. But look at this, because of course Kangaskhan using low kick right here, we can say that the ghost part of Annihilate is great, right? And so Annihilate is also great with Rage Fist right now. The main thing about these Pokemon that I'm showing you today also is that aside from Scrafty, they have actually both Obstagoon, Annihilate, they have had community days for them, as well as a December community day to make that up too. Been in the game for a relatively long time when you think about Mankey, although Annihilate somewhat newer. But each one of these Pokemon also has a slight crossover to the next Pokemon. For instance, Scrafty, we did a little bit of damage to the Kangaskhan that was super effective. You know, Annihilate right now using Rage Fist, it can be super effective against the Giratina right now that Giovanni's sending at us. Just to get down a little bit of like house cleaning, we'll call it. You know, while this video is a challenge type element, you know, below 1200 CP, we're always below 1500 CP until I say otherwise, basically for these first few videos that I do on Giovanni, each time that he changes the lineup. So obviously, I would love if you guys subscribe if you're struggling, only if you feel like you get value from these videos. I say this all because just we have already uploaded one video prior to this, so you can check that out. And if you're looking at this kind of in the future, there will be more videos to address just more situations that Giovanni can throw at you, because one thing that you can do to always help you is probably the obvious, I would hope, but it's to address the fight based on which Pokemon Giovanni's got. What moves do they have? And look at this, we're actually not going to use the shield. I'm hoping that this is a good judgment, because the problem is that Obstagoon right now, it is a decent choice, right? Like, we're going to have this epic resistance, of course, and this, again, it's the whole moveset typing thing, right? If Giratina had Dragon Breath, it wouldn't be so good with Obstagoon, but right now it's using Shadow Claw. That being a ghost type attack, we have Obstagoon. It's dark and normal, right? So, like, we can deal super effective back. We have Lick as the fast attack. I was debating whether I should go with Counter or not. It's sort of a toss-up, right? Because Counter would not be super effective, but Lick doesn't really do a whole lot of damage. It does fire off fast, but it doesn't generate energy super fast, so there's kind of a lot of trade-offs. These are all things you can just basically learn watching my videos if you haven't kind of investigated it on your own. I'm just saying that that's like an easier pathway maybe for you to learn. But Obstagoon with Obstruct, you know, Obstruct as well, it won't do a whole lot of damage compared to Night Slash at least, but the thing about Obstruct that we like is that it is going to boost your defense while also lowering the opponent's defense, and it's guaranteed, right? So it'll happen every time until it's maxed out, right? So there's the defense rows, you know, but then we can actually use Night Slash a little bit later on, and it's the good thing about Obstagoon is it's a little bit more budget type, right? So to teach it two moves, you can scroll down, of course, to new attack on your Pokemon's page, like Obstagoon's page, press that new attack, and it's actually just 10,000 Stardust, whereas a lot of other Pokemon are more, you know, aside from your first partners and a few others. But yeah, it definitely paid off to save that shield for Obstagoon here. Make sure while you are watching this, you pause just to see those text tips on screen. We had a few of them interspersed throughout, and I tried to, of course, vocally cover them for you, but you know, when you just have like 4 or 5 minutes to cram all this info in for as many players as possible, the task is difficult. Please click an end screen and check out more videos. That's the best way to learn about Giovanni in any scenario, and we'll have more to come. And so I thank you so much for viewing.